Big changes are coming to SNAP benefits, so we're going to break down everything you need to know. We found out that benefits may be dropping for many EBT users. Thousands of people are going to lose their benefits in the coming months, while others are going to finally start getting them. And that's just the start. We're going to cover it all, and along the way, we're also going to share some tips on maximizing your benefits with new discounts and resources. So let's dive right in. Let's start with some good news. You don't need to worry about restrictions on what you can buy with your SNAP benefits, at least not yet. Certain lawmakers have been trying for years to limit your choices to only what they consider to be healthy. They recently tried to sneak that language into a new law, but it didn't work. The committee in charge said no to their plan, so we're still safe from those restrictions for now. But we're not out of the woods yet. Lawmakers are still pushing for radical changes to the SNAP program, and a new report from the USDA seems to have only put more fuel on the fire. It's frustrating, and I really think we need to set the record straight about a few things that were in this report. So by now, I'm sure that you know that sometimes mistakes happen in the SNAP program. Sometimes people get too much money, and sometimes they don't get as much as they should. You know we're all about helping people get as much as possible when it comes to food benefits here on this channel, so this is something that we pay close attention to. Well, the USDA recently released their annual SNAP payment error rates report, which shows how many mistakes were made when calculating food benefits. The latest report, which covers the 2023 fiscal year, shows that the SNAP error rate is 11.67%. That means that more than 1 in 10 SNAP accounts is calculated incorrectly, and that is a lot. Now, most of those mistakes result in people getting more food than they should be getting, not less. The USDA said that there is an overpayment rate of 10.03%, which means that more than 1 in 10 SNAP recipients are getting more benefits than they're supposed to get. Now, when people talk about this report, that is the number that they're focusing on. Many people are saying that this report shows widespread fraud, and some lawmakers are even weaponizing this information in an attempt to make drastic cuts to the SNAP program. They're all upset about that 10% overpayment rate. But there are two things about this report that everyone's missing, and I think they're really important. I know these benefits are crucial to you and your family, so I want to make sure that you have all the facts, and I'd like your help getting this information out there if you feel like sharing the video. So first, payment errors do not necessarily equal fraud. They are not the same thing. Sometimes they're just the result of innocent mistakes made by either the state agency or the person applying. For example, let's take a look at what's happening in Alaska right now. Alaska was just fined almost $12 million for having a 60% error rate for 2 years in a row. That means that more than half of all SNAP cases in Alaska are calculated wrong. Why? Because the agency in charge misinterpreted a policy when they were working those cases. It was just a rule that they didn't understand right, so they made mistakes. But now they know better, and they're fixing it as fast as they can. It's important to understand that the USDA has already issued fines and corrective notices to the areas with the biggest problem with overpayments. If you live in those areas and you're getting more than you should, you're probably going to see your benefits reduced as cases get reviewed, and that sucks. If you receive a notice that you have been receiving an overpayment and they want you to repay the excess money that you received, you have the right to file an appeal. I strongly recommend that you reach out to a free lawyer at a community aid clinic to see if they can help you fight that. I have seen reports where people have successfully received waivers so that they don't have to repay that amount. I can't guarantee any sort of outcome or results for you. I'm not a lawyer, but I would strongly recommend looking into that option if that's a notice that you receive. Even if you aren't currently being overpaid, though, you still need to understand that many lawmakers are still trying to use this 10% overpayment figure to push the idea that the SNAP program is overrun with fraud and abuse and that some sort of more drastic action needs to be taken. This report could have ripple effects that impact everyone, even if you're currently receiving the right amount of benefits. Now let's talk about that second thing that everyone in this report is missing, and that's the underpayment rate. In that same USDA report, they found that 1.64% of EBT users are being underpaid, which means that about 687,160 people are getting less food help than they deserve. Hundreds of thousands of people are struggling harder than they should be to put food on the table because they're not receiving the full benefits that they're entitled to. This is a problem that seems to have been completely overlooked in the discussions about this report, and I think that's really frustrating because we all know how hard it is to survive on a SNAP budget. Underpayments make it even harder. If you're concerned that you might be receiving less in SNAP benefits than you're entitled to, you can request a review of your case. I've been running low-income relief for over 10 years now, and I've noticed that a lot of seniors and people with disabilities tend to miss out on a lot of SNAP dollars because they don't know about the medical expense deduction. That's a deduction you can receive if you have out-of-pocket medical expenses over a certain amount. Basically, this deduction reduces the amount of income that they count against you, and that makes you eligible for more SNAP benefits. It's something that a lot of people miss, so if you're over the age of 60 or you have a documented disability, please look into that right away. Honestly, I think it's all a little ironic that lawmakers are so caught up on a 10% SNAP overpayment when the real issue that is costing America millions of dollars is actually SNAP theft. According to the USDA's SNAP replacement dashboard, the government has already shelled out over $61 million in extra SNAP benefits to replace money that was stolen by criminals and fraudsters. And that amount does not even include data from California or Arkansas because those states haven't submitted their data yet, and I bet you California has a ton. Thankfully, it looks like the government is finally ready to start doing something about that, at least in certain areas like New York. New York is currently reporting the highest rate of SNAP theft nationwide, I suspect because California doesn't have its data in. The Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance recently reported to Eyewitness News that they're in the early stages of moving toward chip technology in New York's EBT cards. There was some confusion at first about what the state needed to do to get that done, but after being prodded by the local news, it looks like that process is finally moving forward. In the meantime, they're urging people to use the EBT Edge app to freeze their cards between purchases. I am really hoping that once one state starts to roll out those chips in their EBT cards, that the other states will be able to get it done quickly, because that is something that we need badly. Now, I know you guys hate bad news, and so do I, so rather than push on to the next bit of bad news, I just want to pivot for a minute and talk about some awesome new EBT discounts. So, if you shop at Meijer, listen up. They just made it easier to afford milk. They've doubled their discount for SNAP customers, so you can now get a whopping 40% off any brand or size of 1% or fat-free milk. This discount will last until the fall of 2026, and it's a fantastic way to save money. And it's not just milk either. Meijer is also continuing to offer free home delivery and discounts on produce for SNAP shoppers, so make sure that you go to Meijer and take advantage of those great deals if you have one in your area. And speaking of deals, we found 34 new EBT admission discounts this month. We've added 8 in California, 2 in Connecticut, 2 in Michigan, 4 in Nebraska, 6 in New York, 2 in North Carolina, and 1 each in Iowa, Maryland, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Now, some of these are really great and can save you a lot of money and unlock some great memories with your friends or family members. For example, you can get $3 admission to the aquarium at the Bay in San Francisco for up to 4 guests. Regular admission is $35 per adult, which means that if you bring 4 adults, you could save $128 or more per visit when you bring your EBT card. We have added all these new deals to our exciting list of over 1,000 EBT discounts nationwide. You can find them all at lowincomerelief.com/EBT. Oh, and if you or your child have been harmed by social media, our sponsor Injury Claims may be able to help you get some financial compensation. They're looking for people, including parents of children, who have been treated for ADHD, anxiety, depression, social media addiction, or other forms of harm after spending time on social media. You can get a free claim review by visiting lirlinks.com/social. Now let's dive into the rest of our EBT update. We do have some good news and some bad news here, but I think it's time to just rip off the Band-Aid and get the rest of that bad news out of the way. There are a few states where a lot of people are going to be losing EBT benefits. Legal immigrants in Massachusetts who've been receiving SNAP under a new program there have suddenly lost those benefits. That's because the state assumed that the $6 million in funding they set aside for this program would last for 7 months, but they were wrong. It has already run out only a few months after the program got up and running. Some state lawmakers have been trying to get more funding for the program, but so far the state government just has not agreed to revive that. And if you're getting SNAP in Louisiana, you also need to be prepared for tough times ahead as well. And this sucks because nearly 1 in 5 people in Louisiana rely on SNAP, and about half of those are children. So here's what's going on. Around 15,000 people have already lost their SNAP benefits in the last few months, and thousands more are expected to lose their benefits starting in the fall. This is all because the state's work requirement waivers have started expiring in many parishes. A new state law will go into effect this fall that prevents the state from applying for those waivers in the future, and many SNAP advocates expect that tens of thousands more will lose their benefits starting in October. The state has successfully requested federal work waivers almost every year since 1996 because of pervasive high unemployment and low job vacancies, so this is going to be a massive change. It will mostly impact non-disabled people who do not have children in their home. Those households are called able-bodied adults without dependents. In order to continue getting those SNAP benefits, people in this group will need to work, volunteer, or participate in work training for at least 20 hours a week. Now in Ohio, the rules are actually changing in a different direction. A new rule from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is going to expand how many people are eligible for SNAP, opening the way for tens of thousands more people to get food benefits. That's because they're going to raise the income limits from 130% of the federal poverty level to 200% of the federal poverty level. They're also going to make adjustments to how the SNAP employment and training program is handled. Several counties are already hiring people to prepare for those changes and the new applications they're going to receive. Now, Delaware is leading the way in the fight against food waste and hunger with a new SNAP Smart Shopper app. This is an amazing app that uses AI to connect SNAP shoppers with discounted surplus food at grocery stores, which prevents it from going to waste and helps people get more food at a lower cost. The app also includes personalized coupons, recipes, and other features to help you maximize your SNAP benefits. Hawaii will be the next state in line to get this program, and we're hoping that it will expand nationwide soon because this honestly sounds amazing. Now, that's all I've got for you this month. Be sure to go check out our recent videos for more ways that you can save money and get free stuff. I'll see you there.